Hello, hello, hello. Week 19 Fantasy Outlook. We're going to give you guys two videos this week because they were separate weeks instead of treating it like a double game week. So Derek is here. Week 18 closed last night. Week 19 starts today. Everyone, you get a free wild card so you can move in and out as many people as you want. I'm not going to talk about 18. I hate the midweek games for single game weeks. I think that's terrible. For the moving on for week 19 through the end of the year, there's a couple teams with no buys. Those teams are LA. It's LA, DC, New England, Philadelphia, and Chicago. So that's my only tip to you guys. The rest is up to Derek.
Yeah, so instead of talking about my team, which, by the way, got 36 points last night, I'm just going to give myself 2 minutes to rage about the complete bullshit that happened last night. One, where was Kyle Larin? Not starting him in New York, where last time he played, he scored a hat trick. Whatever. No Sasha Klefshin. He's only your best player. Whatever, New York. I mean, you didn't need him to beat us anyway. We all knew Valeri, Plata, Higuain, and Kaká were out. So there's four playmakers. Oscar Pareja, you decide not to start Mauro Diaz again and instead put out a Premier Development League lineup against Seattle, get a red card in the 5th minute, and lose 5-0. Way to go. Let's see what else. Portland versus Montreal is probably the only regular game of the night last week. Regular game of the week 18. Vancouver did well, so, I'm not going to rage about them, but Pedro Morales was on the bench, so we can just rage about that. Whatever. He was a premier fantasy option this week. Kansas City didn't screw us. Holy crap. Peter Vermes actually knows what he's talking about now. Chicago scored, but David Ackham for like the 4th straight week wasn't involved in anything. I don't think you can own him anymore. Toronto decides to sit Giovinco. You know what's really weird when Vanny decides to sit Giovinco? I mean, he is their team. Ola Kamara on absolute fire, does absolutely nothing. RSL, even though they didn't blow it up Dallas style or what they did like 2 weeks ago, not 2 weeks ago, like a month ago, where they sat all 11 starters, they still sat Ramondo, Plata was injured, and they sat Burrito Morales. 3 legit fantasy options. So, and then I mentioned for the Week 18 preview that there was no obvious clean sheet candidate. Well, my obvious clean sheet candidate gave up 5 goals. In addition to that, there was 4 clean sheets last night.
Hey, Derek. Welcome to Fantasy MLS.
This is a pain in the ass. Red Bull, Chicago, Seattle, and Vancouver all got clean sheets. There's my timer. We are done with my raging. Let's go week 18. Oh, by the way, the average was only 27 points last week. Yeah, that's going to go down as probably the worst week in MLS fantasy history. That being said, Week 19's free wild card. You can do really whatever you want. Sam mentioned the teams without a bye. I think there was 5 or 6 of them.
5.
Yeah, and in Week 22 is the only double game week in the next few weeks. It's RSL and Toronto. So if you want to load up on those teams, you can. But just realize Jeff Cassar is a complete rowdy when it comes to DGW rotations. So, yeah, there is that. But, yeah, moving on to Week 19. You got LA versus Houston. First of all, LA's at home. LA has a great schedule the next few weeks. I would wholeheartedly buy into Robbie Keane and Steven Gerrard, because Steven Gerrard is the consistent player. He'll get you 5, 6, 7 points a game. Not much higher, not any lower. That's pretty good. I just want the consistency now because I keep getting burned by players who can go for 14 points. Thank you, David Acom. Let's see, Brian Rowe. He's a good option. Daniel Steers, Jelly Van Dam. Really, whatever you want from that team, you could probably own them. They're going to be on fire, and Houston is just terrible. So I wouldn't own any of their players. Columbus versus DC. Ola Kamara didn't score a goal. Who knew? DC still a pretty good defense. I'm going to try and avoid this game for now because they're still missing Higuain. Colorado versus SKC. Thank God I'm glad to see the obvious clean sheet candidate back. You should probably own a Colorado defender. If not, you're crazy. Axel Hoberg is the second highest scoring defender in the game.
Yep, after Zimmerman, and he's 6.1.
Yeah, so I mean, if I had to choose, I'd probably own Hoberg.
And I think Birch is like 5.6.
Yeah, either Hoberg or Birch is fine. Thing about Colorado is they don't have the complete anomaly of games like FC Dallas does, and I'll get to that because they're the next game on this list. SKC, they just don't play well on the road for whatever reason. I mean, they got shut out by Chicago. That should say it all. Still, Benny Fallhaber's a good option, just not this week. Same for Madronda, same for Dwyer. Really, whatever you want to do there, just don't do it this week. And I think Coelho got injured last night. I didn't watch the game because it got delayed like 2 hours. But yeah, FCD in Chicago. Here's the thing about FC Dallas. They are the best ranked team in MLS. They are number one in the Supporters Shield. And yet they have lost games 5-0, 5-0, 4-0, and 3-0. How in the hell? They have a positive goal differential, and they've lost those 4 games by a combined 17 goals. What the hell? So if they're not getting blown out, they're probably getting you a clean sheet. And they're playing Chicago at home, so that's a good risk. You can go with pretty much anyone on that team you want to, except for Mane Figueroa, who is out with a red card. Yeah, Chicago, I mean, they got Polster back. Their new signing, DeLeu, scored. I just don't like their chances at all this week. So just hold off on them. Same thing for Campbell, except he's a minimum price defender, so you can play him no matter what. But
5.1.
If you have better options, go out there. But there's no arguing with 5.1. There's just no. RSL versus New England. Check the injury reports. Plata missed their last game. I really like Yura, my assistant. He should have had like 2 or 3 goals last night. I mean, they were down 2 goals, but he hits the bar in stoppage time. Good player. They're playing at home against New England, who could not stop a nosebleed.
Neither could Orlando.
Exactly. I mean, go to the Columbus New England highlights. All right, no, and just watch that. That's just both teams are just so terrible defensively. Unfortunately, Columbus' opponent is terrible offensively. RSL is not, so you can go ahead and buy Mofsisian this week. Good option. Vancouver versus Orlando. Yeah, I know we're all Orlando fans, but you might want to load up on Vancouver players because we are literally so shit. It's not even funny.
No, it's not.
I mean, yeah, they looked like they were trying for about 40 minutes last week, and then Connor Lade scores a goal because Rivas lost his man. Whatever the case is, Pedro Morales, Christian Bolaños, Chichera, Mane, Osted, all great options this week. Pick and choose however many of those you want. Just know you can only have 4. San Jose versus Toronto. Not really sure what to think of this. San Jose doesn't have many fantasy options to begin with.
I think Arrested Gio might be nice for Toronto.
Oh, I hope so. He needs a goal in the worst way. Has not scored in, I think it's 7 games played. But he had 11 points in his last game without a goal. And it's Giovinco. You have a wild card. Check your team value. If you can fit him in, do that.
Now, you can transfer in as many as you want or out as many as you want this week.
Yeah, it's just
for free.
Total transfers is the tiebreaker between players. So don't get too crazy with that. I mean, I need to change my team badly. Portland versus Seattle. These games are goal fest. Absolute goal fest. So I'm hoping for Diego Valeri to play.
That would be nice.
Clint Dempsey's not playing. Unless they appeal that red card. I didn't see it from what people told me. It was a bad red card. But, yeah, Dempsey's out on a red card. So if Valeri's playing, I'd be all into that. Portland's done an okay, better job at defense lately. So if you want to try Liam Ridgewell, hope for the clean sheet without Dempsey, you can go ahead and do that. Not going to argue with you there. Yeah, but it's pretty much Valeri, Adi, McInerney. That's it.
Same characters, same cast.
Yeah, Seattle versus Dempsey is shit. I mean, they scored 2 goals without him yesterday, but whatever. Dallas was terrible. Montreal versus New York. Piatti is probably your best bet for this game. I have no idea if Drogba's going to play. He's been out the last few games. Harry Shipp seems to turn it up recently, but there's no better option in this game than Piatti from Montreal. And their defense just has not been good this year. Simon left the game yesterday with a sprained ankle, so don't think he'll play. So that means fire up players like David Villa and Jack Harrison for your budget. And hell, even Frank Lampard. I feel sick just saying Frank Lampard is the fantasy option. I really do, but he's scoring goals. And, those cost more than just about anything else in the game. So if Frank Lampard keeps scoring and, one of the MLS FI guys actually captained him a couple weeks ago, and that worked out great. Yeah, Vieira's not going to sit him, so why not? New York's a great road team. They're a great team. That's why they're in first place. And then Pirlo's been putting up decent numbers, so it's just pretty much whoever you want. RJ Allen's been putting up great numbers. They're back. I mean, I like that team for fantasy now. I really do. And Philadelphia and New York. Philadelphia is turning into the Vancouver Whitecaps, where they're a great team. They're just not great fantasy options. Except for the fantasy god, Roland Alberg. All he does is take PKs, and he scores like 12 points a week.
Isn't he hurt?
I have no idea.
Let me check. I'll check.
If not, buy him, because whatever he's doing, it's working.
Oh, Alberg. No, he's not hurt. I mixed him. I thought Herbers is hurt. I confused them. Sorry.
I know people that have taken risk on Alberg, and if he's producing like this, why not? But most of his goals have been from penalties lately. But still, points are points. Don't care. Red Bulls, don't really like them on the road, but if you have to pick one of them, you're probably picking Kleshin. They're a good fantasy team. I just don't like them as much this week. I like them a lot better next week when they play New York City at home. Other than that, I mean, I don't see many teams with like 2 home games in a row here. Portland, RSL, Montreal. It's probably about it. So, if you want those 2 home games after week 19, those are your teams. Sam already mentioned the teams earlier that do not have bye weeks, and I mentioned the week 22 DGW teams. So,
who are the week 22 DGW teams?
RSL and Toronto.
RSL and Toronto. Okay.
Yeah, so I mean, you got your free wild card. Honestly, do whatever the hell you want. If you want more consistent midfielders, go that. If you want to go boom or bust midfielders, if you want to go 3-4-3, whatever. This is your wild card week. This is the week where you do whatever, fix your team, move up the damn boards. Because that's what I'm doing this week.
All right, and just give me a list of must-own players for the second half. Just like 5.
Robbie Keane. Like the must-own player. Like the non-obvious Giovinco Villa type must-own players.
Just 5 must-owns. Doesn't matter. Just give me 5.
Keane, Giovinco. I'll put Axel Holberg on there. Diego Valeri. And 5th, I'll probably go with Piatti. Piatti or Diaz are basically tied with each other.
All righty. Well, there's 5 for you guys to start your team if you're just struggling or whatever. But you got anything else?
Last week sucked so bad, I'm not even sure what to expect from this week.
Write it off. Move on.
So honestly, good luck to you if you have 11 players playing, because last week I had 7.
All right, Derek. Well, thank you. That's all for our time. Thank you guys for your time. Peace out.